Hello and welcome to another tier list video. So today we're making a tier list for the month of July. So this is right after patch 20.8. If you don't know what that patch is or means or what happened, I made a video on that, so you could check that out as the previous video. But basically, I've been playing a lot, almost like 10 hours a day, and these are my first impressions on the new heroes, all the changed heroes, buffs, nerfs, and how good I think everything is. So if you just want to see the tier lists, I'll leave a link in the description where you can just take a look at the tier list itself. But if you want more information, I'm going to go over every single pick, every single tier. So sit back, grab yourself a coffee or whatever you enjoy drinking, and let's talk about some heroes. Real quick, if this is your first time on the channel, don't forget to subscribe if you like tier list videos, guides, update videos, anything Battlegrounds related. It's very much appreciated, and I like it. Also takes 1 second and helps this video. So we have 5 tiers. We have S tier, which are the best heroes that I take every time I see them. We have A tier, which is good heroes that I like to take very often. Then we have B tier. They're okay, like if your options are not too great, these are playable. C tier, you try to avoid them, but worst case, they are maybe playable, they're worth learning. And D tier, you stay away from. D tier is do not touch. That's what the D stands for. So I'm gonna go from the worst hero to the best hero in every tier. We're gonna slowly climb up from the worst hero in this entire tier list to all the way the best hero. Now the worst hero in this entire tier list, so the bottom of tier D, because we're gonna start off with tier D, is Jurexus. Jurexus, sorry buddy, but demons got buffed, and even then Jurexus is trash because Jurexus wants you to stay down and force 1-star demons and 2-star demons and just use your hero power for like a little bit of stats. It's just a worse version of so many other heroes. You lose to Max, which is very prominent right now. All the divine shields just trade too well into your demons. There's too many big scaling with like quill bores, with just a lot of poison as well in the meta. It's just, no, it's just not a time for Jurexus to be alive. Is that rude? Flurgle. Flurgle is the second worst. Is also a hero that forces a specific tribe, which isn't that good. Murlocs. It really hurts to put Flurgle solo. I love Flurgle because he is hard to play and master. He's really fun to cycle Murlocs with and do crazy combo turns. There was a meta where he was viable, and it took me a while to finally master him. But he's pretty useless right now. Again, he just loses to a lot of stuff that's around, a lot of shields. You don't survive with early tempo right now in the meta. So sadly, Flurgle is just not really playable. Shenvala, same deal. I see a lot of Shenvalas in my lobbies, but they always get top 8. Shenvala doesn't work either, even though Elementals got buffed. Like Elementals and Demons got buffed, but heroes that force specific tribes early on are generally really bad. Only if you hit like early party rock and a lot of elementals, then she's gonna be strong, but I think every hero is strong with that opener, so I think you'd rather even have a different hero power than that. So yeah, that's the third worst hero. Then we have Pyramid. 1 gold for 4 health. There was a time where it was viable. Right now it just doesn't compare, so sadly Pyramid is the 4th worst. We're halfway through the D tier. Now we have Lich Basial. Lich Basial, like 2 HP for gold, sorry, but there's a lot of heroes that get gold much easier without having to spend 2 HP. Look at Gallywix, who is just a straight up power creep on this hero. So Lich is still somewhat playable. I think she's really hard to master, and even the best players, if you play this hero, you're either gonna get a top 8, or if you get really lucky and high roll and spend your money wisely, you can still get a top 4. But that is not worth the trade-off, so you'd rather take a more consistent hero than this hero. But I think this is the best in the D tier. I did put her pretty low though, because she's really hard, and I think most players will just get a top 8 with her. Then we have Patchwork, the 55 HP giant. We don't really need someone without hero power and just extra health. Generally, like Patchwork, you don't see them in your lobbies, and if you do, then they are probably performing pretty poorly. Because if you have no hero power, like there's so many strong hero powers in the game right now, having no hero power is such a disadvantage, even if you have 15 extra HP to work with. It doesn't matter, you lose the 50 extra HP in a single turn against someone who gets 3 triples because of their hero power. So Patchwork, yeah, no, not really a big fan of either. Then we have the cats, well, Bigglesworth. She's really fun. I see a lot of people still take her, but I see a lot of people still do really bad with her because, well, let's face it, she also doesn't have a hero power for the majority of the game. The early game is like the most important stage for you to survive, because with every hero, so if you have a hero power that doesn't really help you, then you're gonna just die. And I see so many people complain in Discord and on Twitter and everywhere that the cat, just no one died for like 10 turns in the entire lobby. Everyone was like 1 HP. And when people died, they died early and they give you trash, and you can't really make it work. Like, you need a super high roll with the cat. that's a bad hero if you need a super high roll in order to be fine. And now the last one in D tier, this one is the best in the lowest tier, is Queen Whack Toggle. I see her quite often, but again, she doesn't do that well. I've not seen her top 4 once in my lobbies because the hero power, it's kind of like Drex's, but it's on Menagerie instead. You just have a bunch of 1-drops, you're strong for a while, and then you just fall off and die. So Queen Whack Toggle, like, yeah, not really that good. One thing you'll see that most of these heroes have in common is like the 3 worst heroes, all for specific tribes early on. Flurgle, Drex's, Shambhala, 4's early tribes, and then that is bad because if you don't hit the good stuff, you're like just dead. And even if you hit the good stuff, you need to transition into a late game while you are not power leveling. Most of these heroes don't power level. Shambhala can power level, but you need the nuts. And then other heroes like these just either have no hero power for most of the game, which right now just isn't good enough with the power creep that's constantly introduced with new heroes, or are just like way too hard to pilot and don't have a big enough payoff like Lich Bazial, or have tempo hero powers and the tempo is just not good, like Pyramid and Queen Whack Toggle. Anyway, on to tier C, so this is a higher tier. The lowest in tier C is Daryl. Daryl, yeah, he was once, when the game was first launched, one of the like giants in the game, one of the best heroes, most consistent. Just dance on some deflectables and you're fine. I have like screenshots of my first games in Battlegrounds, one with Daryl, and the boards are like half or even 1/4 the size of what my final boards are now. And that was good enough to win lobbies. To be fair, I wasn't leaderboards back then, so my lobbies were easier, but it's crazy how much more stats you need right now to win. So Daryl naturally just falls off immensely to the point where he's just not good anymore, sadly. So he's at the bottom of tier C. And then we have Yashiraj. And this might be a controversial pick. I know a lot of people might enjoy Yashiraj, but every time I played him, he feels so bad because you need to get kind of lucky of your hero power. You can get some real garbage. The only real benefit you have from the hero power is early power levels. And even then, you have to play down a unit. Like, you can use the hero power a couple times, and then once you want a full board, you can't hero power anymore. Unless you just sacrifice that board spot for a random unit, which can still be bad. So I haven't had any success with Yashiraj in a while. I think he is playable. Like, you can take him if you want to take some risk, but I definitely think there's better heroes to pick if you like power leveling that are a bit more consistent than just a random unit. Alexstrasza is after Yashiraj, also a power level hero, but I think she's a little bit better than Yashiraj because you can just go straight to tier 5 and make up for the tempo with 2 dragons. The reason that's better is because if you have dragon pairs, you can triple them. You're on tier 5 straight away. You can just get a bigger spike all of a sudden. You know, like, you can still high roll like a Caligos or so, a Razorgore and some stuff. I feel like Alex is a little bit more playable. It's still really bad. It's still at the bottom of tier C, so I would stay away from Alex still. Don't get too baited. In prize lobbies, he becomes a little bit better, but that's it. Then the Curator, even though Curator got buffed, sorry, but he's still, like, the +1 attack on the Amalgam doesn't really matter that much. You are too baited into forcing Menagerie with this guy, and then if you don't hit the nuts, then you die. You have to keep this bad Amalgam on the board. Like, whenever I steal an Amalgam also farm, I often end up selling it because it just makes me actively weaker to keep this unit around on the board. Yeah, don't get baited. Then Guff. Guff was once of the best heroes and now took a really massive nerf and got the Queen Whack Toggle treatment from 2-1 to 1-1 from the hero power, all the way from being the best hero also all the way down to being one of the worst. So stay away from Guff. He is like still somewhat playable if you get offered real big trash and you don't want to think. Like, you just press your button and you're gonna have some stats. And I think in lower lobbies it could still be okay because hero powers that just give you the constant stats on the board should be decent, but I've not seen them do well like in any of my lobbies, so stay away from him. Then Tess, I know a lot of people that enjoy Tess, but she always plays from behind. One thing I've noticed is even if I play down and for tempo and try and get early triples and get strong, you always play from behind, because if you face someone who has the Caligos or has the Lil Reg and your hero power and steal it, then you have it 1 turn later than that opponent. And it's pretty slow. You have to hero power and still buy and then waste almost your entire turn. And the thing is, you need the entire lobby to go the same, because sometimes I find like a Caligos and then my next opponent has, yeah, like I mentioned, Lil Reg, or then this guy has Shargla, and then you like gotta make decisions and you just like die. That needs a big high roll in order to win, kind of like comparable to the Cat, but I think a little bit more consistent, not the best. Then is HysteriA forces dragons, but the reason why she's better than the other 3 bad ones at the bottom of tier D is because you get offered dragons every turn. You don't have to like hope that you roll good dragons. You get offered dragons on every roll. So if you somehow just have a strong board and make it to tier 6, you win on the spot because you're gonna roll a million Caligis and a Malgadons and stuff like that. It's also easy to farm triples. One thing I did is I power leveled to tier 3 and 4 and I just rolled some Bronze Wardens, rolled some Draconids, and just have a really strong board, and you know you're gonna triple them because of the hero power. So it has, again, some high roll potential. It's just not as good as other heroes. Still, you still prefer to just triple into Caligos with Jendis or with Hooktusk, but she's playable. Then AFK needs a good lobby as well. You gotta see what tribes are in, what tribes are on tier 3. If it's a lot of good tribes, you could take her, but AFK, still not a big fan of her. And then Arana Starseeker. So Arana Starseeker is only in here for Party Rock. So if you have Elementals in the lobby and no Murlocs, because if you have Murlocs, they just play one Poison Boy and your entire board is dead. Then it's also good if there's no Quillbores, because those scale massively. No Mechs, because the Divine Shields are just gonna like value trade too much into your Molten Rock. Overall, Arana needs a lot of specific conditions in order to like somewhat have a viable solution. I think the only thing playable with her is Party Rock. I've seen people do Demons as well though, and Sarlacc stuff. So like Referee vs Sarlacc can just like build up a board using Daffodils and Demons to cycle. I've not tried it myself, but it seems very sketchy and just worse than Party Rock, although a little bit more flexible. Overall, every time I pick Arana, I either high roll the nuts with Elementals and get a 3rd place or 2nd place, or I don't high roll and I get an 8th place. That doesn't seem worth the risk to me. So in lower lobbies, she's probably better. She'll probably bump up on the tier list, but I would still stay away from her unless you get like really bad heroes and you get a really good lobby for Arana. You can take her and try to hit the high roll if you want to like get some MMR still. N'Zoth, the fish, also got buffed from N'Zoth. Still not good though. You need beasts and mechs in the lobby, at least mechs. Beasts are good because they have good death rattles, but mechs especially, and then maybe you could make like a death rattle build, but then again you gotta keep this fish on the board until you hit the good stuff. Kind of the same deal as Curator. You might get baited into a death rattle comp because death rattle comps are good, like they're strong right now, but they still don't beat high roll Quillbore boards, for example. And you need to roll for like really specific units, which is always bad. If you have a hero that needs specific units to work, then you either high roll and strong or you miss and die. So yeah, not a big N'Zoth fan either. Maligos. Maligos, I haven't really tried this meta. I tried him a lot previously before this patch, and he is like alright. He's not great, he's not bad. Like you can just reroll a unit either on your board if you have a buff or in the shop if you're looking for something specific. Yeah, it's just like sure. We're still in tier C, by the way. Now we have Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter I have tried once, I think. He got improved a little bit, but he's still not insane. So I really hoped that Demon Hunter was going to be good. I thought that he was going to be insane. I was wrong. He is somewhat playable, but he needs really specific conditions as well in order to work. Like the +4 attack total early on doesn't end up having such a big effect. Like if you give a hero with +4 attack and that's your entire hero power, that's bad, right? Now the additional attacking first twice is still a big payoff, but again you need like Macaws or Deflect or Reset, or you need specific conditions, and you still don't even beat high rollers early on or people with actual better tempo hero powers. So sorry, Yellowdown, but maybe if you get +3 attack, you'll be better. Then Red King. I really hate Red King. I try to avoid him as much as possible because if you just don't get any buffs from your hero power, you're also just playing without hero power early on. I hate that feeling. But you can still get buffs, good buffs of the hero power and be like really strong and dominate. But I hate Red King, although I do think he's better than all of the heroes that I previously mentioned. So I'll put him right here. Take him at your own risk. I think he's okay. But oh, I hate him so much. Then we have Overlord Saurfang. Overlord Saurfang gets plus attack to units. In this mech meta, he is pretty good. Just make sure mechs are in. Just hit like a deflector bot, hit some modules with plus attack, hit like some menaces, upgrade your board. Maybe a Hydra. Maybe you find some, you know, some cleave to just slam on the board. Again, not really good at getting first places, but in this tempo shield meta, he's alright. And Maleficent also just a hero that forces mechs, and because of this meta, mechs are good. You don't really hate forcing mechs, you just stay down more, play for some tempo, get your 3rd place, grab your 20 MMR and get out of there. So Maleficent is at more the top of tier C. Then we have Akazamzarak. Now, I think a lot of people would put or rate Akazamzarak a lot higher, but I really hate him. I have a despise for Akazamzarak because you have an Ice Block, but we're now back into somewhat of a spell meta where later on people can still discover Ice Blocks. Now that's later on. I know an early Ice Block is good because you can power level, but he also feels like so much RNG. If you get good secrets, you get some competitive sprints, you get some stats on the board, nice. Maybe you hit an splitting image later on or some poison, nice. But the fact that you have to spend 1 gold every single turn for a random secret, I hate that. I feel like his hero power isn't powerly enough. I like heroes that have a chance of getting first place. This hero just feels like you're in constant survival mode in order to like not die. But I'm not the best Akazamzarak player. I know that for a fact. I know that people do a lot better than that with him than I do. I just think he's also pretty boring. So I'm gonna keep him at this tier. Then Mukla. Yes, I would actually take Mukla over Akazamzarak. After the buff, I've played him and he actually feels solid. Like he feels okay. If you just stay on tier 1, do a farm curve, get a mummy pair, just buff up the mummies, slap a module on that guy, and just play some mechs, find a Hydra. You're good. I even had like a game without any scaling. I just had my bananas and then like maybe an arm there, and then I played some Leapers, and I was pretty strong. I think I got 2nd or 3rd place that game. He feels okay, like he feels playable. And now the top of tier C, the final hero in this tier is Nozdormu. I think Nozdormu is actually a little bit underrated. He is pretty bad still, but you get 1 gold free a turn. The best way to make use of this hero power is to power level and then just roll. At least that's what I've been doing. So I always power level to tier 3 and then roll and try to hit the Deflectobot, Bronze Warden. So looking for tribes in the lobby that are good on tier 3. So most of the Divine Shield units and things like that, and Quillbores. And now I just always try to power level on turn 3 and use my free roll efficiently, because the biggest downside of power leveling is that you don't find good shops and you can't roll much because you don't have the money. You need to just buy what Bob offers you. Nozdormu fixes that problem, so that's how I think I've been able to make Nozdormu work a little bit. He's actually like okay to play, although he's not insane. On to B tier. So this is the middle tier of heroes that are pretty good, that I play regularly. At the bottom of B tier is Vol'jin. Again, Vol'jin, some people might rate him higher. I've not been having a good time with Vol'jin. I feel like he's just a worse version of other heroes like Mutinous, and he is also a really hard hero to pilot. He's really hard to learn. Maybe I haven't put enough time into him, but I don't see many people perform that well with him. Only like some top players have a really high win rate with this guy, but most Vol'jins that I see in my lobby aren't that good or aren't that strong. Like they are often a 1 or 2 unit Andy. They just have like 1 or 2 big units and that's it, and that is easily beatable right now. So I feel like Vol'jin has a lot of potential and you can still take him over all of the previous bad heroes, but I have not been able to find good success with him compared to more consistent heroes that I know can provide consistent stats and high roll to the game. Then Rakanishu. Rakanishu is like okay, it's kind of comparable to Edwin, but Edwin got a buff so he's bumped up a little. But if there's max in lobby again, like you hear me say max a lot, but a lot of his heroes need max to be in, which is pretty interesting. Or beast so you can find a Hydra, or like at least a Bronze Warden so you have some divine shields like dragons and elementals for Cyclone. Just make sure there's good units in lobby to buff, and then just stay down, use your hero power a bit, get strong, and enjoy your top 4, I guess. Syndragosa, since the buff, like I've been a Syndragosa fan for a while. I really low rolled with her the one time I tried her since the buff. I don't think the buff had a massive impact on her, honestly. Like I think she plays still relatively the same with the power leveling, especially. Like I think you almost always power level with this hero, and even though I low rolled like crazy, I still was able to stabilize pretty well because of the hero power. So I feel like she has a lot of potential. I feel like she can perform well, but she needs a big payoff from the power level. She still needs some additional stuff next to the hero power in order to win the lobby. So I think she's okay, she's not great, the buff didn't impact her too much. I'm gonna keep her at the bottom of tier B. Yogg Saron, I don't know, not much to say about him. He didn't change. He's still like okay, he's literally in the middle of the pack. He is playable, you just power level with him, press your button, you're strong. Yeah, he's just Yogg. And Deathwing, again, I'll mention you need max in the lobby and preferably beast as well for Infested Wolf and Red Pack and all that stuff. But yeah, Deathwing, actually, I've been kind of enjoying him. I hated him at first, but he is pretty good at just winning lots of early fights. And because of that, you can power level, and even I've heard strategies where you just go straight to tier 6 because you're strong and then transition into elementals or dragons or whatever. I like staying on tier 4 and just doing mechs and just like taking my top 3. But yeah, that thing is definitely fun to mess around with. Then Eudora, for some reason I have a really high win rate with, and I like doing the suicide curve. If you don't know the suicide curve, so I'm not going to do an entire tutorial on every single hero on the tier list, but it's basically digging on turn 1, and then on turn 5, when you have your 5 digs done, you're on tier 4, so you get a random golden, which could be a 4-drop if you're lucky, and let's go for a 5-drop. I've done that every single time I get a token or a swabby, and yeah, I don't know, I feel like it's easy to stabilize once you're at tier 4. Like, you're gonna take a lot of damage. Usually you're at like half HP, 20 HP, but then you get a 5-drop, a golden unit, you're in tier 4, so you take like an egg, a bonker, and you stabilize, and from there on you just actually can win games. So I'm actually having a lot of fun with Eudora. She also is like a bit of RNG, but she's fun. And then Toki is same deal. She has a lot of fun curves to mess around with. I like the level on 6 gold, hero power freeze, and then on 7 gold you can buy the 4-drop, hero power again, buy another 4-drop. So on 7 gold, turn 5 you have 2 4-drops on the board. It's pretty fun. Just make sure your lobby has good 4-drops. So look at the tribes again. Yeah, Toki, she's not... there's also some RNG again with the things you hero power into, but she can definitely high roll some really insane stuff. And Sky Captain Crag, I don't know, I like power leveling, so a lot of these heroes are good at power leveling. Sky Captain Crag just know how to not be too greedy. Use your hero power whenever you're weak. Like, even if you're on tier 4, just hero power and just use your money to roll and buy more units. You don't need to hero power in order to power level. That is possible. It is nice if you can just hero power level straight to 5 and triple into a 6, which has happened before for sure. But it's also just good if you're in a tough situation, you have a tough early game, you can hero power, take some strong stuff, use that extra money that you have compared to other people, and just pop off. Patches, again, you need a specific lobby for this guy. You need a lobby without Murlocs, because poison destroys pirates. And preferably no max, because max also destroys pirates. Actually, now that I think about it, almost everything destroys pirates, unless you high roll the nuts. So with Patches, the thing is, he seems like one of the most insane early game heroes. Every time I take Patches, I end up dominating the early game and getting early triples. Like, you just hero power every turn, you get some captains, maybe even looters, you triple swabby, which is a lot of money. Like, you just have a wide board that buffs each other, that triples because of the hero power, and you're strong. The only issue is that you need to transition into something good late game. Either Eliza and Scallywag stuff and just strong as pirates and just punch people in the face, or 8 PM stuff, which needs a couple hoggers to make work, and I've not been having a good time getting hoggers with Patches. So he's not super consistent, but you could even transition into other stuff. I think I've played Patches and go into Menagerie, just like be strong early on, hit an early light fang, and then go Menagerie. He's fun to play. He's not super easy though, even though he seems rather easy. The economy with this hero is interesting early on. And then Edwin, I actually haven't played him since the buff, but I've seen a lot of other streamers play him, and he seems to be pretty reliable now. If you just again have Maxin, like you're gonna see a common theme, then take an Edwin, get a big deflectable, and you're fine. I need to try him still, not too much information on him, but it seems to be fine. Galtas, he didn't change, but he's like the staple tempo hero. Like, you just get +2/+2 on every 3 units you buy. So you're just gonna have like a lot of extra stats compared to other people, which is good. Like, any hero that just has more stats than other people is generally pretty fine. So he's like, okay. And then Bran. So a lot of people have been talking shit about my boy Bran. So he got changed. He now gets a Bran if you play 5 Battlecry units, or if you buy 5 Battlecry units. And a lot of people have been having bad results with him, I assume. I've seen a lot of brands also get top 8, but yesterday that I played, I saw like 3 brands, I think, the entire day, and all 3 brands kind of high rolled and popped off. I think people are finally realizing how to play him. So how I played him at first and how I see other people play him is stay down, get a lot of tokens, get the brand early, and then try to stabilize and try to maybe get some token triples and maybe try and power level. But then you very often die indeed. So what someone else suggested and what I tried out is just playing the game normal. Just play like strong early game level normally, and take some battle cries, of course. You still want to buy battle cries, but don't just buy shitty battle cries. It doesn't matter if you get your brand a couple turns later, because you don't need to brand early on, right? You just want to set up a board, be strong, and then if you're tier 3 or tier 4, you just get your brand, you already have a decent board, you can roll a jug and then you're insanely strong and just go Menagerie. or full Murlocs. Both work, depending on what you find. I wanted to go full Murlocs, but I found a lot of Menagerie stuff, so I ended up just getting Menagerie. I think I've played him 3 times total. First time I kind of failed because I did the greedy stuff like everyone else, and the 2 last times I played more of a normal game with him, and I did pretty well. Those games were all, I think they were 3rd place and 2nd place. He actually feels pretty good. I need to play him more and practice him more, but he seems like he has real potential. Then Kurtrus. I hated this guy so much. I really hated this hero. I played him once, I got 8th place, and I was like, this guy is dog shit. But apparently he's pretty good. I need to give him more goes. I have not been offered him much. I try to avoid him a lot as well. But apparently if there's a max lobby again, you know, is this max, then this guy is not bad. You just get the hero power early on, so you're really strong. All the tokens that summon also get +2/+2, and you just take a top 4 for free, which is something a lot of these tempo heroes have in common. So that is something that I might mess around with more, that I'm gonna try. But that's why I rated him higher than other heroes, because I've seen a lot of people actually have decent success with him. Then Greybow is nearing the top of tier B. Greybow, again, max are a must for Greybow. And then you just play a taunt comp. Like if you find a Kiraji, you're just insane. If you find a Kangor, then like an Egg and maybe a Khadgar, and you know where I'm going with this. He is pretty good. And then last but not least, on tier B, the best one I think is Ticketus, but preferably you play him in a spell lobby. If there's spells in the lobby, double tickets are apparently super good. Like if you on turn 4 you get double prize, you can do some nasty stuff. Same with turn 8, you can get like double Evolving Tavern or double on the house, some crazy combos. Like double spells stack pretty well. Like the spikes that you get from those turns are enough to make Ticketus actually a really good hero. If there's no spells in the lobby, I still think he's pretty bad. I would put him at the bottom of tier B, maybe even tier C. But with double prizes, he feels pretty good, yeah. And now on to tier A. So these are some good heroes that I like to play a lot. Bottom of tier A is Silas, or Silas, I don't know how to pronounce his name. The guy that gets tickets on units, 3 tickets, and you discover another unit. This hero just discovers 3 units, so he's pretty good, you know. Power leveling is good with him. Even just staying down and playing for low tempo is good with him, because you can get easy pairs. You can look for specific units. You can spike. What I like to do is just level up and then buy a ticket, so you discover a unit from a higher tier. He is really flexible. He is just good. I like playing him. He has higher potential, but he has his limits, because you can still discover bad stuff. You can still get some bad shops without tickets. So I don't overpick him that much. I just like taking him from time to time if the rest is garbage. Then I have Lord Barov. Lord Barov gets better, of course, with the better player you are. If you know how to judge fights well, if you're really good at scouting the lobby and looking when people level, when people triple, you're gonna have a good time with Barov. So you need like to put all your brain power into the game. Constantly remember what people are doing and how strong people are and their boards. And then Barov is just free money, and if you get like +2 gold a turn for free, you're pretty set. And you can do like crazy power levels again, pop off, get triples. Barov is fun if you get your bets right. But he's not a free hero. It's not just a hero that you take and you win with. You need to, put some brain cells into your game. Next hero is Ragnaros, and yes, Ragnaros is this high up. I know a lot of people are not a big fan of him, but every time I played him, I've had good results. I don't think I've had a single bottom 4 with him, and I do take him quite often. Again, you just need max in the lobby, but even in no max lobbies, I've had good results. Even if I just have like a Bronze Warden and a Hydra, or just 2 units that are okay with buffs, is good. All you need to be able to do is stay down and play for tempo. If you can play properly for tempo and know how to not play greedy, just play as strong as possible, get your hero power online and use that to just get strong, you'll be fine. You'll be able to get a top 4 with Rag. It's pretty simple. Alakir. I also didn't used to like Alakir for a while, but I played him a bit yesterday and he feels actually insanely good, especially again with power levels. What I like to do is go to tier 4 on turn 4, or just power level straight to tier 3, because the hero power helps you out so much. Being able to just give something Divine Shield and Wind Fury is massive. You like beast in your lobby, obviously, because an early Macaw can do miracles, even with like blood gems. I've had a game that I won with Alakir with like Macaw, and then that Fredel blood gem guy, and then an Agam, and that was like DIY bonker. It was a lot of fun, very flexible, lots of tempo, lots of cool things to try out. And I also had an Alakir game where I just had 1 cleave that was the only unit on my board, everything else didn't exist, and that just won me the lobby, because the cleave attacked twice and killed 6 units. Like, It's disgusting. Next up is Reno. Reno is really flexible as well. A lot of people do really poor with him. I've also had some bad runs with him, but I think I'm playing too greedy. Just hero power early. One tip is to just like hero power something good that you find early on. If you go to tier 3 and you hit an Iron Sensei, just hero power the Iron Sensei. You're gonna be fine. If you're strong though, and if you have pairs, don't do it because you can still triple into a 5-drop or a 6-drop and hero power that, which is the dream. But if you're weak, if you're taking hits, or if you don't want to play too greedy, I have no pairs, just hero power like a 4 or a 3. I've even seen people hero power Road Boar, like the 2-star unit, and do proper, like actually decent with that. So be creative with the hero power, I would say. Then there's Katoon. Katoon also just consistent. Press your button, get some stats, and you'll be fine. I prefer having Beast and Max in lobby. Max because there's a lot of advanced shields, and Beast because then you can have Macaw selfless endgame. I just like to pick up selfless heroes, Macaws, and well, yeah, the lobby is gonna have a tough time against you. Moving on to Dev Speaker Blackthorn. I took this guy over Rafam yesterday because I didn't feel like playing Rafam, and I got a first out of him. I've played him a lot recently just because it actually feels so good to power level to tier 4. Again, a lot of things in common here that most of these heroes want max or want to be able to power level to tier 4 or have flexibility. This guy again just power level to tier 3 almost every time or 4. Use all your gems on a good unit and just like pop off on higher tiers. I really enjoy that. Then we have Xyrella. Xyrella just needs tokens. If there's tokens in the lobby, you can easily farm triples, get a lot of money. I just enjoy playing Xyrella. Yeah, it's like a Maiev on a budget, but right now it's just a much better Maiev. Then we have Lich King. Lich King returned. I haven't actually gotten to play him. I've not really been offered him, but he is still really strong. I've seen other people really do well with him because, well, reborning a unit is just good. It's very flexible. You can get a reborn on a Spore and you have double poison on Selfless hero. Overall, just a lot of flexibility. Again, early tempo, good late game. He's just almost too flexible, so he's really good. And then maybe to a surprise, there is Zephrys. Zephrys I've just been having a blast with. I think he's actually really consistent. Like, you just take whatever pairs you find or whatever good units you find a pair, just hero power. You triple into a 4-drop, then you triple into a 5, then into a 6. Just get strong, just get some golden units and just dominate. I feel like he's just a better version of Reno right now. Again, a key is to not be too greedy. Don't just try and high roll the best triples and all that stuff and greed for 5 and 6s. Just, yeah, kill people. One thing I'll say is don't triple into 3 drops with any of these heroes. Never triple into 3 drops. I've seen people triple into 3 drops a lot, but it feels like such a waste. Like, freeze it for 1 turn and take a 4-drop afterwards. It's so much better value, so much good stuff on tier 4 compared to tier 3. There are always exceptions to the rule, of course, but generally speaking, always take 4s. And then at the top of tier A is George. George, getting Divine Shields on units is good. The fact that you can have a full Divine Shield board is good. You prefer having Murlocs in the lobby because then you can have Divine Shield poisons quite often, but even without Murlocs he feels pretty decent because you can just get stats on the board and Divine Shield it. Who needs Bronze Wardens anyway, right? It has no Max in the lobby, he's also better because Max have a lot of shields, and then, well, you can get shields and other people can't. Big downside is of course Ghoul. If people Ghoul you, you are kind of screwed. So you want to play around Ghoul late game. You still want to build stats. Don't just play a scam comp every single time because you'll lose to Ghoul, but actually play a decent build and your shields are going to carry you all the way to the finish line. Now on to S tier. So these are the best heroes that I take, I think, every time I get them offered. Again, in order, so we're going to start off with Rafam. Rafam, like any hero that gets units for 1 gold, is good. Even if the units are trash, they're going to be pairs because most people take the same tier 1 units and tier 2 units, so you're going to steal those from everyone. So you naturally just get free triples, free money, a massive board. He's just always been a good hero ever since his release. Next up is Omu. Omu still the best power level hero almost in the game. You can just do the Omu curve. You level on 6 gold and either level on 7 gold or 8 gold, and then just go all the way to tier 5, maybe tier 6. Very flexible. The money is good. He's just a good hero. I think he is not super easy to play. I see a lot of lower players do pretty bad with him because they don't know how to optimize the 2 gold that you get when you level. But it's actually massive. So I would say look at how other people played him, how leaderboard people optimize the money that you get from leveling, and what curves they take, what they buy, how they go about spending their power levels. Next up is Galakon. Galakon feels absolutely busted. And one thing I've noticed is that, and one thing I've tried is to take tier 5s and 6 units early on, so just hero power and freezer shop continually and take a 5 or 6. but I've seen a lot of people get 8 places with that. Because the issue is that you're on tier 2 or tier 1 or tier 3, like you probably do a farm curve by the time you have your 6 drop. So even if you get a Caligos or even if you hit a boat or an Eliza, you're stuck on a very low tavern tier. So you still have to spend all your money the next couple turns leveling up if you want to, because otherwise you just have a shitty board of 2 stars and 3 stars. And then you still just take damage and die. So what I've been enjoying a lot with Galakrond is just like not being greedy. Just take 3 drops and 4 drops from the hero power. I prefer doing a farm curve still. I've seen people even do power levels to tier 4 with Galakrond and then just hero power into a bunch of 5 drops. But I like just taking 3 drops. I had a game where I had a turn 2 Hangry Dragon. I hero powered on turn 1, froze, and then turn 2 I got a Hangry Dragon, and the rest is history. I just won the lobby. I've had games where I had a super early Iron Sensei into a super early Bonker. Like, it just take good units. Just take good units. See the hero power more as tripling every turn, not just getting a 5 or 6 early on. Just see it as you gotta triple this turn. Pog, what do you do with it? If you triple is bad, just freeze it and go for something from a higher tier. Anyway, now on to Gallywix. Gallywix, yeah, it seems like insane. Compared to Lich, like early on you just get some free money. If you had a token, you have some cool leveling curves. He is a hero that is yet to solve. A lot of people have been playing him. People have been doing bad with him. People have been doing insane with him. It is a really hard hero to figure out your economy early on. Like early on, there's a lot of thinking involved, like 1 or 2 turns ahead. When do you level? How much money do you get? What do I buy here? And then once you make it to the late game, you just win because you get like 5 or 6 gold a turn for free. If you're dragons or if you're APM pirates, you have like 20 gold. Like, it's insane. So early game is really fun, really interesting. Late game he's just broken because he gets so much more money than everyone else. It's actually just unfair. So Gallywix is really high up there. Next up is Hooktusk. I'm still impressed Hooktusk didn't get nerfed because she's insane. 0 golds to, well, find triples, to get money if you have tokens in the lobby, to get blood gems if there's Skullborn in the lobby. Like, the hero power just seems still way too strong. Every time you face a Hooktusk early, you just see them having a full board of pairs and like strong stuff. It's kind of disgusting. Yeah, just learn Hooktusk. She's not easy to play. I see a lot of people do bad with her, but she is insane for sure. We're almost done. 2 more heroes. Then we have Jendis, the second best hero, who, well, just if you want a token, you win. It's so stupid. Jendis you want to play in token lobbies, preferably 2 tokens. If it's 1 token, preferably Murlocs. Just if you have a token on turn 1, you literally win. If you know the Jendis curve, you just bounce the token back twice, you hold your triple in hand, and you take 2 5 drops on turn 6. So on 8 gold, you have 2 5 drops on the board, you have a decently sized board, and you're on tier 4. Like, it's insane. You can even go for 6 drops, you can go for 4 drops. If you don't hit a token, I like staying down and rolling to try and hit a token. She is way too flexible. Too many lobbies are won with a Jendis with 2 Amalgadons and a perfect menagerie board. But hey, I'm also surprised she didn't get nerfed, but she is still definitely at the top. And now the best hero, and this might make some people question whether or not they should unfollow me, is Mutinous. Mutinous, I swear to God, I think he's my most played hero this month, and he's my highest win rate hero. I think I only have top 2s with the guy. Maybe I have like 1 5th place or 4th place, but only 1st and 2nd places. He is insane. Now, when I first started playing him, I did poorly. I got a lot of bottom 4s. I did really bad with the guy. But once you start learning him and start seeing the leveling patterns and start optimizing his hero power, like some general tips are playing tall instead of wide, so you have like a couple big units early on. Know some interactions like with pirates and with Murlocs, like passive stats carry over with the hero power. Stuff like that. You don't even need Max in lobby. You like Max in lobby, but even without Max, he's nuts. Like a hero that can just cheat out so many stats early on and put them on good units is ridiculous. He is my most consistent hero. I definitely say learn him if you want some free ranks. If you don't know how to play him, if you do bad with him, like watch some streamers. Might do a guide on him soon because he's really fun. But yeah, I'm gonna put him first. I would actually take him over Jendis and Hooktusk, but only if there's not both tokens in the lobby. If all tokens are in the lobby, I'll still take Jendis, Hooktusk because they're too insane. But if not, I will always just take Mutinous, whatever the lobby is, because he's just, I know I'm gonna do well with him. Real quick, I forgot about Maiev. I think I'll put Maiev somewhere in the middle of C tier, because after the nerf, she really got bad. I have not seen a single Maiev do well in my lobbies. She just seems really hit or miss, and even if you hit, it's not that good compared to some other heroes right now. And if you miss, you're literally just dead. So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this tier list. Again, link is in the description if you want to take a look at it yourself or if you want to save it somewhere. This might change again soon. I'll try to do a monthly tier list or maybe a tier list whenever a new patch is released. If you guys enjoyed the content though, let me know, and well, like the video first of all, so I can see people actually enjoy the video, and leave a comment comment what you thought of how I rated these, because if this gets well received, I'll do more tier lists, because I know people actually enjoy tier lists. I just don't really make them that often, but I might do that. Just let me know. Thanks for watching, take care, have a good day, and good luck on the Battlegrounds.